Hi, everybody. I'm Russ Reed, and I'm the Executive Director of the National Center for the Biotechnology Workforce, located here at Forsyth Technical Community College in Winston-Salem, North Carolina. And I'm delighted today because we're actually interviewing our staff, which is kind of fun. And first, I want to recognize Sean Killebrew, who's our expert at doing media for SciTech, and he's been doing it for so long. He always produces great things. So, Sean, I think we have a great one today. I'm very excited to see. How are you doing?
Doing well, Russ. Good to see you.
With me, Dr. Jason Gagliano. Jason, how are you doing?
Doing okay. How are you?
I'm good, thanks. Jason, why don't you introduce our people?
We have Libby. She's our part-time technician in the lab. She also works for Wake Forest Biotech Place. And then we have a Forsyth Tech student, Michaela Romero. She's also working at the Biotech Place in the lab with Kara, and she's also a student at UNCG as well as Forsyth Tech.
Well, Jason, thanks very much, and welcome everybody to SciTech. Jason, we have an instrument in the lab called a QTOF, and it's in the class, I guess, called High Resolution Mass Spectrometry. Can you give us a little idea as to how this, what does the QTOF do?
Yep, so QTOF stands for Quantitative Time of Flight. And so it's like you said, a high resolution mass spec. It's so high resolution that it can actually distinguish compounds and molecules by just protons, so one atomic mass unit. And so it could measure molecules and compounds that have carbon 12, carbon 13, carbon 14. And it's one of those instruments that you would need in order to very accurately determine the identity of a molecular compound when you're looking for unknowns. And so that's why we got this instrument.
Excellent. Jason, can you tell us why is this instrument somewhat unique to our region?
Well, as far as I know, we're the only ones in Forsyth County, and I don't know about the other counties. I've asked the company if there's other ones around, and they told me no. And so we're unique in that aspect of having the instrument. And we're also unique in that we have the latest and greatest model from Agilent. This is hot off the press, so not many people actually have this model as well as this type of resolution.
That's great. It sounds really cool. I'm going to turn it over to Sean. He's got a really good question for you.
Well, I'm just excited to be here to hear about the QTOF, but I'm really wondering, how did the college acquire the QTOF?
We wrote a grant to the National Science Foundation Advanced Technical Education asking for this instrument, and the purpose was to have students working on a industry relevant technology as well as working with companies on industry relevant projects.
Sounds good. Thanks, Sean. Thanks, Jason. Jason, tell us a little bit about how employers and institutions can benefit by this equipment.
Sorry, one employer that we are working with is Natural Discoveries. They were renting bench space in our lab. They travel around the world and get plant samples from healers in different tribes, for example, in Papua New Guinea, Madagascar, and the Congo. The healers have said that these plant samples were used for centuries for different ailments, but the question is what's in it that actually does these things? And so you can't know that question unless you do a high resolution mass spectrometer. So we have hundreds of plant samples in the lab that we're looking to analyze with students in association with the company, as well as we have educational partners at Wake Forest that would like to use the instrument for their classes as well as for research.
Excellent. So Jason, I think you want to engage Kara here in our interview.
Yep, Kara, so could you give us a quick synopsis of how students have benefited and used the instrument?
Sure. So at Forsyth Tech last year, we started using it during our forensic chemistry class. And in that class, we also met students who were interested and got excited about the technology. So we had 6 Forsyth Tech students over the summer working with the QTOF. we had one high school student from Atkins, and then we had 15 STEM students. So these students all got hands-on experience, and it's not only important. They actually worked for small companies that we rent lab space to, and they worked on, like Dr. Gagliano had mentioned, the Papua New Guinea samples. But it's the students using this instrument not only gain experience working for companies and analyzing these materials, but they get hands-on experience with instrumentation. And this, when you see a student first come into our forensic chemistry class, they're very nervous about touching an instrument because they're afraid they're going to break it, and they really just stand back and nobody wants to do anything. So this experience over the summer let them become more comfortable with these instruments, and this can be brought into any future of endeavor that they do, whatever career they do. These instruments can be very intimidating when students and new hires are working with them, so this experience gives them the opportunity to become more comfortable with them.
Thank you.
So Kara, can you introduce Michaela? And Michaela, can you talk to us about your summer program?
Sure, this is Michaela Romero, and I met her when she took the forensic chemistry class, and she was also a student intern over the summer, and I was very impressed with her skills that I actually hired her to work on my team over here at Wake Forest Baptist Health, and she will talk about her summer internship program.
Yeah, so Michaela, hello. I started doing this internship with Dr. Gagliano over the summer, along with 6 other students, and we were working on the QTOF, which, just like Kara said, it is very intimidating being in a lab and having all these lab equipment and not knowing what they do, how to use them, or even what their purpose is for. So Dr. Gagliano showed us what it was for, all the technicalities of it, and it was a great learning experience because not only did I learn from it just from watching and from what he taught us, but we got to be hands-on with it, and we actually were able to use samples that were brought from Amy Greason, who is from Natural Discoveries. She goes and does the expeditions just like Dr. Gagliano mentioned. And we had specific samples from the Papua New Guinea tribe. We were able to run those through the QTOF and find the healing properties that are in them that have been used for human diseases and any other sickness that could have been in the tribe that we also experience here. So it's interesting because we can actually take out those components or figure out what is used in them and be able to use them here for everyone else in the community. So it was really interesting to see that and be able to understand it and see the results and identify. Because in general, I think that this QTOF is meant for just identifying drugs, but in reality, it can be used for multiple different things. And another sample that she had brought was plant samples that actually help with certain diseases, such as cancer. And to me, that's just an amazing use for it. So it was very fun learning about it. It definitely piqued my interest more in this area, and it helped me be here, which I'm also very happy about working here with Kara. So it's definitely opened up more of an interest in me going into lab work and just seeing all the possibilities, what I can learn, what I can do. So it was honestly a very great experience.
You got so familiar with the instrument, you actually contributed some documents to the lab. Can you just make a comment about that?
Oh, yes, that's right. I also was able to, learning from the instrument, I was able to actually put together some almost protocols on how to use it. And I did about 4 protocols on the QTOF. And I also translated them into Spanish for any ESL students that may come across the lab and also end up getting the opportunity to do an internship like this.
That's great. Michaela, what's next for you?
Well, I'm currently attending UNCG. I'm majoring in biology. I originally went in as a forensic science a student in Forsyth Tech, which is what led me to take the forensic science class with Dr. Gagliano, and then I did the internship with him. And so originally, I did want to work in a lab. I looked more towards a forensic side of it. However, now after this experience, this internship, and just seeing everything else that I could do in a lab, I'm open. I'm leaving my options open for anything else. I definitely know I want to work in a lab, and I want to do more for the community.
We've had classes come in and use the lab, like forensic chemistry has been in there for years now. We also have had recombinant DNA course come in, and they're coming in next month. And so we love to have more courses, science courses at Forsyth Tech, utilize the instrumentation in the lab, and they're always welcome to come in.
I want to thank you and your staff today for joining us for SciTech. Sean, as always, it's great to see you. And I think that this is going to be a great SciTech. I think it'll be very, very well received by the college. So thank you very much for coming today. I really appreciate it.